It's the stuff of nightmares. Emergency lines are flooded with calls as UFOs appear in the sky faster than authorities can track them. It all seems too incredible to be true. But mounting evidence has revealed that UFO waves are a very real phenomenon, able to penetrate the world's most closely guarded airspace at will.
A fleet of UFOs invaded the airspace over Washington, D.C. They flew over the Capitol, they flew over the Pentagon. They were seen by hundreds of people.
But what is behind these sudden surges in alien activity? Is there a pattern to when and where they appear? And do they pose a threat to the human race? From the dawn of the atomic age to fantastic voyages through invisible dimensions, join us as the shocking secrets of UFO waves are unsealed. A global effort has begun. Secret files hidden from the public for decades, detailing every UFO account, are now available to the public. We are about to uncover the truth behind these classified documents. Find out what the government doesn't want you to know. Unsealed. Alien Files. Exposing the biggest secrets on planet Earth. Eupen, Belgium, November 29th, 1989. Two police officers patrolling a country road as night falls spot a nearby field lit by a light so bright they later claim they could have read a newspaper by it. Arriving at the scene, they are shocked to see an enormous triangular UFO hovering overhead. On its underside are lights at each of the three tips, and a single red flashing beacon at its heart. The UFO begins floating silently toward Eupen, with the police in pursuit. There, it hovers above the astonished town for over 30 minutes. By the end of the night, an estimated 1,500 people, including at least 13 police officers, report a UFO encounter in one of history's biggest mass sightings. But for Belgium, it's only the beginning. For the next 2 years, the nation experiences an unending wave of UFO sightings that leave experts baffled. By the time the wave comes to an end in 1991, some 13,000 people claim to have seen a UFO. Skeptics will claim the objects to be American stealth aircraft on routine maneuvers. But the U.S. Air Force denies any of its aircraft were operating in the area at the time. The Belgium wave is just one of many that have occurred over the past 7 decades in skies all over the world. But what is behind these sudden surges in alien activity? Do they serve some secret purpose? And most important of all, do they pose a danger to our planet? The search for answers begins with the wave that started it all. Unsealed Case File. The 1947 UFO Wave. Bakersfield, California, June 23rd, 1947. Richard Rankin, an experienced pilot, spots a strange formation of 10 silver discs in the sky, speeding north at 300 to 400 miles an hour. They are unlike any aircraft he has ever seen. He fears that reporting such an outlandish story might jeopardize his credibility and his job. Rankin elects to wait and see if someone else reports a similar encounter. He would not have long to wait. June 24th, 1947, Mount Rainier, Washington. Pilot Kenneth Arnold is flying a search and rescue mission when he catches sight of a chain of 9 UFOs flying in impossibly tight formation, as though they were one aircraft, and at supersonic speed. Arnold tells his story to the press, and the term flying saucer is born. It's a landmark moment. But the wave of 1947 isn't over. Just 2 weeks later, the UFO wave of 1947 will culminate with an event that will change the course of American history.
July 8, 1947. The Army Air Force has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
Several witnesses report a strange object crashing in the desert outside Roswell, New Mexico. The Army dispatches a group of soldiers to investigate. But rumors would later tell of alien bodies also among the wreckage. But just 1 day after announcing they recovered a flying disc, the military retracts the statement, calling the wreckage nothing more than a weather balloon, launching decades of government deception on the subject of UFOs. But what could have brought alien visitors out of the shadows at this particular moment in history? Alamogordo, New Mexico, July 16th, 1945. The U.S. military detonates the world's first nuclear weapon. It's an ominous event in human history, one that leads project director Dr. Robert Oppenheimer to say, "I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." Earth has entered the atomic age, and humanity now possesses the means to utterly destroy itself and turn the entire planet into an uninhabitable wasteland. The human race was now tampering with the most powerful force in the universe. Many experts believe this to be the moment when the extraterrestrials began to take a hard look at human civilization. Coming up, we investigate a series of alien waves that threaten not only our way of life, but the very survival of our planet. This is Unsealed Alien Files, exposing the biggest secret on planet Earth. Welcome back to Unsealed Alien Files. The year 1947 saw the first of many UFO waves to appear in our skies, an alien show of force at the dawn of the atomic age. Many experts now believe the appearance of UFO waves to be connected to incredible leaps in technological innovation, and it wouldn't be the last. In the 1950s, the United States would undergo a period of unprecedented modernization. By the end of the decade, the nation is the world's undisputed powerhouse. Barring a nuclear conflict with the Soviet Union, it seemed nothing could stop the United States' rise as a superpower. But one event would change this. November 9th, 1965. Hundreds of people across the American Northeast witnessed a UFO many describe as a dome-shaped fireball speeding across the sky. At the same time, above Tideout, Pennsylvania, a small airplane is chased by two UFOs. Air Force jets are scrambled to its aid. But as the jets fire on their targets, the UFOs accelerate and disappear. The American Northeast is gripped in a state of UFO panic. But no one could have predicted what would happen next. Shortly after 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a massive blackout plunges the Northeast United States and Canada into darkness. For 13 hours, 30 million people struggled without power. Was this a show of force? A demonstration that whatever humans can build, aliens can take away in the blink of an eye? 2 decades later, another UFO wave will do just that, and much more. 1982. Ronald Reagan is in his first term as President of the United States, and Cold War tensions reach heights not seen since the Cuban Missile Crisis. The year also sees a curious wave of UFO sightings in the Soviet Union. The Black Sea, February 10th, 1982. 6 sailors disappear while investigating a reported disabled ship. Presumed dead, the men miraculously reappear 5 days later, claiming to have been pulled up into a UFO by extraterrestrials. Voronezh, 200 miles north of the Black Sea. 2 soldiers are driving their jeep through the country at night, when suddenly they see a blinding beam of light shining down from the night sky. It moves back and forth as though searching for something. Moments later, an enormous flying saucer, some 400 feet across and over 200 feet tall, lands in the field before them. The 2 soldiers continue to watch in disbelief as a hatch opens and several tall humanoids appear. They walk around the craft for a few moments before reboarding and flying off into the night. A steady stream of UFO incidents throughout the Black Sea during that spring and summer culminate in what remains perhaps the most ominous UFO encounter in history. Unsealed case file. The Usovo Incident. Usovo, October 4th, 1982. Strange lights are witnessed darting back and forth over the nearby nuclear missile base. Suddenly, the missile control panel springs to life, and complex launch codes begin to unlock the security system. Someone, or something, is preparing to fire the missiles. If the missiles launch, retaliation will inevitably happen. creating an Armageddon of mutual destruction. For 15 heart-stopping seconds, base personnel watch helplessly. But suddenly, the launch sequence shuts down, and the UFOs vanish. Are aliens influencing the development of our most dangerous technology?
One of their primary areas of interest is our technology. Nuclear power stations, missile sites, military bases.
Are aliens trying to send us a message about our dangerous experimentation with self-destruction? Or, like the New York blackout, was it a terrifying show of force? Coming up, we investigate shocking government conspiracies to hide crucial information on UFO waves from the public. This is Unsealed Alien Files, exposing the biggest secret on planet Earth. Welcome back to Unsealed Alien Files. Starting in the late 1940s, the world has experienced periodic waves of intense UFO activity. Many experts believe they may be directly related to sudden advances in technology. But how much does the U.S. government know about UFO waves? As it turns out, they have been quietly investigating these phenomena for over 60 years. Unsealed Case File. The Washington, D.C. Flap. Washington, D.C., July 1952. Cold War tension is at its peak, and America's capital is the most heavily guarded airspace in the world. But on the night of July 12th, air traffic control at Washington National Airport picks up 7 UFOs on radar. An air traffic controller makes visual contact with one of the UFOs, describing it as a bright orange light. Then, the objects do the unthinkable and make a sudden turn toward the White House. One witness reports their movements to be completely radical compared with those of ordinary aircraft. Fighter jets take off in hot pursuit. The mysterious craft vanish from radar, but the UFOs aren't done with Washington yet. Wave after wave of similar UFOs will menace the nation's capital for over 3 weeks and will become known as the Washington UFO Flap. The shaken city wants answers. Unknown to most, the military launches Project Stork to try to uncover a pattern to the sightings. The study concludes that UFO reports from 1952 are 3 times higher than the 5 preceding years. America is clearly in the midst of a UFO wave. Despite compelling evidence to the contrary, the U.S. military publicly denies that America is under attack by an alien presence.
It does not contain any pattern of purpose or of consistency that we can relate to any conceivable threat to the United States.
Why did the U.S. government deny the Washington Flap findings? Were they afraid the discovery of a UFO wave would create widespread panic? The question remains, did this cover-up put the world in danger? Decades pass, bringing countless waves of intense UFO activity. But it isn't until the 1990s when a nation on the other side of the Atlantic would publicly acknowledge that UFO waves exist. Unsealed Case File. The Cosford Incident. Somerset, England, March 1993. A police officer leading a group of scouts on an outing sights a strange craft he describes as 2 Concords flying side by side and joined together. Soon after, the Ministry of Defense UFO hotline is flooded with desperate calls from local residents. The man in charge of the department at the time is Nick Pope.
This was a wave of sightings throughout the United Kingdom that took place over a period of around 6 hours. There were several dozen witnesses, including numerous police officers and Air Force personnel.
The military sightings take place primarily over the Royal Air Force Base at Cosford, some 150 miles north of the first encounters. But for Pope, the account that stands out above all others comes from the meteorological officer at nearby RAF Shawbury.
An Air Force officer with 8 years' experience described to me an object which he said was quite unlike anything that he had seen in his entire Air Force career.
It's an enormous triangular-shaped UFO, shining a narrow laser-like beam of light down at the ground, as though searching for something. The giant craft moved slowly toward the base before suddenly deactivating its beam and darting off beyond the horizon, faster than any known aircraft. The encounter leaves the veteran airman severely rattled.
When I interviewed the witness the morning after this sighting, his voice was still shaking.
The sheer number of witnesses to the Gosford incident forces the military to admit that an unidentified object of unknown origin was operating over the UK. Coming up, we investigate a recent discovery that may trigger the appearance of the next great UFO wave. And this time, they may be here to stay. This is Unsealed, Alien Files, exposing the biggest secret on planet Earth. Welcome back to Unsealed, Alien Files. Evidence has revealed the planet-wide appearance of menacing waves of UFOs may be tied to mankind's rapid technological evolution. Is there another major scientific advance on the horizon that may trigger the next wave of intense UFO activity? According to some experts, there is, and it might soon reveal the mystery behind the extraterrestrials' most powerful technology. The world has often wondered how UFOs and aliens are able to appear and disappear at will. Many believe they don't actually travel across space and time in the same way as our airplanes. Instead, they may appear and disappear by leaping between dimensions.
We're clearly dealing with a technology way ahead of anything that we have.
Humans experience the world in 3 dimensions: height, width, and depth, and the passage of a 4th dimension we call time. But recently, scientists working at CERN's Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland are actively looking for evidence that the universe contains more than 4 dimensions. Inside the collider, particles are smashed apart at velocities approaching the speed of light. Experts project the results of these interactions may soon reveal as many as 7 more dimensions that lie beyond the known realm of human perception. Hidden dimensions that aliens may be using as intergalactic highways to cross the universe in the blink of an eye. But how will aliens react when we reach another technological milestone and begin experimenting with the very technology they use to reach us? Will they see this new breakthrough as a threat and force us to pay the ultimate price? This is Unsealed, Alien Files, exposing the biggest secret on planet Earth.